Hi guys, it's Rachel Chambers, your international educator for Colors by Gina, and today we are going to be talking all about money pieces. I'm going to show you how to create this look of a money piece that has non-specific part. So this is a center part, but she can wear her hair over to the side and to the other side and still have a strong, soft money piece. So let's get started. Okay, so what we're doing today is a blended and soft money piece. As you can see on my client here, I haven't seen her for about 6 months, so it's been a minute since we've done her foil. And what we're doing is blending out her gray and kind of creating that pop of a money piece. Here we are mixing our lightener. That we're using Colors by Gina Lightning Dust. I like to mix to a 1 to 1.5 ratio, but what I love about Lightning Dust is you can mix it 1 to 1 for freeform or balayage, or you can mix it 1 to 2 for regular foils. So this technique would work well for as well if someone is kind of a part flip-flopper, because we're gonna kind of address the partings like she has a center part, and that will make sense here in a little bit. So I'm going to take a small section right here and I'm going to angle it towards the center. When a person moves their part around, you kind of have to cover a little bit of different surface areas. And what I like to do is work with a lot of diagonals that way. So as the hair moves or shifts, it is soft in each direction. So I'm gonna take like a backwards triangle of hair out. And really when I'm selecting a money piece, I am more paying attention to the density of the hair, because I find that a lot of stylists work really close to the part line on a mannequin. Their part line is super dense, but that's not how human hair is. Usually there's a large recession area. So what I'm looking for and paying attention to is where the density of her hair lies. And that's how I'm gonna build my sectioning. Depending on how your client's hairline is, I personally don't like it to be super bold in the front, because when you pull your hair back, it looks really stripy. This is a lot harder to do on a mannequin, but I'm actually going to just kind of create a little veil. Normally that wouldn't be that thick, but since we're working on a mannequin here, that's what that looks like. So I pull their hairline out, and on this foil, I'm gonna do minimal weave. So it's just a lot less hair I'm picking up, but you don't want it to like have this dark veil and then a whole bunch of brightness behind it. So I dropped out some hair, but I'm actually gonna drop out a little bit more. So I'm just kind of pulling down from some of my heavier sections. So you have about an equal ratio of hair that is left out to hair that you're gonna incorporate in that first foil. Paint the lightener on, and what I like to do, this is my secret, is really rolling the hair, especially if you're working with a lot of hair in your section, which this mannequin does have a lot of hair right on her hairline. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna fold my foil up, lock it in place, But then I'm gonna open it back up. So as you can see here, there's still quite a bit of space because we're working on a high curve of the head, which is against the forehead. I'm going to make sure that that is saturated all the way back up and then push my tail back up. If I have any product, I'm just gonna wipe that off. Then our next section, we're gonna drop down. I feel like there's a magic in threes, so we're gonna be doing 3 foils for each subsection. And I personally like to foil a little bit away from the scalp. I feel like it divvies up the density of your subsection a little bit better. So we're gonna take that and then we're gonna give it a little tease. Now, not everyone's hair teases well, so you could also do an air touch technique here too. On finer hair, sometimes I feel like it needs a little product, so like a texture spray will help assist that, or if your client's hair is super clean or just really healthy, teasing can be sometimes difficult, so that's some of my tricks right there. And then this one I like to kind of feather up. Now when you're feathering, it's really important that you give good saturation. So I don't like to create a lot of wispy movements. You really want like a nice soft but solid line. And the reason why is if you don't have full saturation, that's where you get that warm feathering effect, and that's not what we typically want. I mean, working on a redhead here, that would be totally fine, but if you're working on super dark hair, you do not want that, especially if they're wanting a cooler result. You'll have to go back in and do a root tap of some sort, and if you just correctly saturate, you can skip that step. So you can see this one, I left a little bit of spacing with my lightener, and this one down here, we got that nice and tight. So I'm gonna do the same steps on this quadrant right here, and then we'll move on to our side section. Okay, so now that we've got our 3 foils on both sides of the face, what I'm going to do is now kind of guide all the subsections that we made towards the front of her face, including all of this underneath. And what we're gonna be doing is utilizing some over directioning. So I'm gonna take this section and give it a pretty deep tease. So I'm starting really at the ends and kind of working up a lot of that bulk towards the face. Teasing that out of the way, and I'm gonna over direct it over here. Now what that's gonna do is we're gonna create a pretty harsh line right here with lightener, and as this hair moves and cascades, it's going to be nice and blended and kind of give you that nice beautiful arch in this section that's gonna cascade around the face. So I'm gonna lay my foil here. This is when you apologize to your client for a foil in their face for just a minute. But then I'll show you how we clean this all up so that it's friendly for the client. So So this again is a very thick section. So I'm gonna spread my lightener out and make sure all those hairs are very saturated. And I do the same when I pull up the length into where all the lightener is. Especially where the hair folds, you wanna make sure that's super saturated. So sometimes I lift that up and kind of pull it back down so I know that there's adequate lightener underneath it. What I love about working with lightning dust is kind of the blue tint that helps to create more cool lightning effect. But it also is a clue to where you have really good saturation. It should look blue. It shouldn't look white. So I'm gonna fold this up. And then I'm gonna tuck it in with the rest of the hair section. And then give that a nice little sandwich. And if you felt the need, just in case these are a little tickly and bothering your client, you can always clip those out of the way. So we're gonna do the same on this side. Just making sure you're not pulling from the side section because you have to foil that next. So lifting all those hairs, pulling to the center. There we go. I'm gonna over direct this the same. And give this a nice deep tease. So slowly working that bulk of that hair up. Sometimes if this section is super thick, you might skip ahead, kind of pull that forward. Grab our foil. You can use a board for this too as well, just to kind of give you an extra helping hand. But it's okay here to just create a very harsh line because this is all over directed and will lay soft at natural fall. We are going to do the same thing, but we're actually going to pivot our sections. So starting at the hairline, we're going to do our same foiling pattern. So about 50-50. I might pull a little bit more of the bulk out of here. And if you find sometimes your hair wants to kind of jump in there, just kind of pull it back down and out of the way and readjust your foil. So now you're going to take that same top point, but you're going to do a slightly diagonal back. If you grab some of your T-section, just readjust your foils. So this is kind of like a pie section. You can see that it's thinner here and thicker in subsection behind it. We're gonna do same weave. And then give it a nice tease. The thought behind leaving a little bit of further out from the scalp is going to give you just a nice softness to your money piece. It's not going to create a bold stripey effect, and it grows out a lot softer as well. Fold this guy up. And then this is our boulder piece. So same pie sectioning. So I'm actually just going to kind of scoop out this. So this catches all of the hairline. And this guy I have a nice deep tease. I like to create the boldness a little bit further away from the hairline around the face. So this is where our bold piece comes in. And we're gonna still do that same nice angle, always having the point come up to the hairline. And since we're doing a little over directing here, that will also have a softer fall when it lays at natural fall. We're going to repeat the same on the other side as far as the foil pattern, and with our subsections, we're going to do the same thing where we gather all the hair together, over directing. We're going to give that a nice deep tease as well. Remembering rolling that lightener, making sure that you see blue, and that's how you know it's super saturated. Fold this up and tuck it away. The reason why you want to tuck this with the other foils is because since this is a teased section, you still want the heat from the head or the heat from the other foils to be the same. If I were to leave this hanging out, it would actually process different than the foils that are closer to the head, because it doesn't have the bonus of the heat working for you from the other foils, or the insulation, I should say. Okay, we're going to repeat the same on this side, and then I will show you the end result. As we pull my client's foils, since it's been over 6 months since her last lightening session, I like to actually, when I unfold my foil, drag my fingers down and pull some of that remaining lightener over the sections on the ends. Reason being, over time, blondes tend to get a little dingy or darken, especially if you're in an area like myself, which has high minerals, or if they live on a well. This is just gonna help brighten those ends and make that toner be more consistent. Okay guys, here's our final result. So showing you the blend from the hairline. It has some depth, but we still have this bold money piece here on the side. You can see in the top, we have some nice boldness, but it's still soft. We did not do a root melt. I actually didn't even tone this mannequin just because I liked the warmth that it lifted to with her red, beautiful color. And then if she flips her hair, you can see that it looks the same, soft and blended on both sides with a good amount of lightness and softness. Okay, so you can see her final result, how soft and blended these foils are, and it really does match her graying pattern, so that as her gray fills in between color sessions, she'll still feel bright around her face. Thank you so much for being here for our money piece tutorial. Thank you Colors by Gina for just creating a very beautiful, seamless color line that works well and quickly behind the chair. This red is also created from Colors by Gina. You can look at our YouTube page for lots of inspiration, and thank you so much for being here.